group project. I have never in my life been so excited to get started on homework. Because then the teacher mentioned that it was a group project. And calmly but firmly suggested that we should make a comedy short instead. But I was quickly shut down.
But that's what everyone else is doing, so we should too.
Let's just focus on that, and then the film can't be all that bad, right?
After that, we had to make the storyboard. And because I was the only one who knew how to draw a stick figure for some reason, I had to draw the whole storyboard by myself, while the 3 rocket scientists next to me gave me instructions on how the whole film should play out. And that's when the story slowly started to come into play. The 2 girls actually were the one who came up with the story. It was about 2 college girls who accepted a dare from a fellow classmate. That involves the 2 of them camping in the woods, where a serial killer just so happened to be for some reason. And I was a little too busy drawing the entire storyboard that we needed to submit to the teacher before the end of class, all by myself might I add, to actually sit back and think about the real-life logistics of what they just said. Basically, these 3 baby Einsteins wanted us to make a short film where all 4 of us would have to record scenes out in the middle of a forest, in the middle of the night, during winter. And none of them thought that that might be a stupid and impractical idea. And it wasn't until class was over, and I finally got some time to sit and think about what just happened, that I basically went, ah, fuck, what did I get myself into? The only thing that I was actually able to get out of that infuriating conversation was that they promised me that I would be given the position of cameraman throughout this whole mess. And in return, I would do most of the editing, which was basically an inevitability given that I was the only one in the group who had any idea how to use iMovie. Like, at all. But that was okay. I was fine doing all of the storyboarding, recording, and even the editing by myself, as long as it meant I didn't have to act. You see, at that time in my life, I was not doing the greatest. And it didn't really become clear to me just how badly I was actually doing until I was able to look back at it with the power of hindsight. Because at that time, the cloud of depression that had basically followed me everywhere I went ever since I turned the age of 12 had grown into a giant Category 5 hurricane. And as you can probably guess, I needed a way to distract myself from the constant misery that I was currently experiencing. So, what coping mechanism did I decide to implement into my everyday life? Well, an eating disorder, of course. And more specifically, bulimia. Basic white girl problems, am I right? Don't worry guys, I'm doing a lot better nowadays than I was back then. Mainly because I'm on antidepressants now, and take sleeping pills so strong that they could easily put a small elephant into a coma. And under normal circumstances, I would give you guys some examples of my behavior during this time, just to truly illustrate to you how badly I was doing. But because I know that some of you guys out there are doing just as terribly as I used to, I'm not gonna. Because most of the screwed up things I used to do involved tactics meant to hide my eating disorder from my family, which I don't want to teach you how to do. Because the longer this shit goes on for, the harder it's gonna be to stop. So instead of telling you about that, I'm gonna share some side effects that I experienced during this time that made my life just that much harder. I can talk about the heartburn, the slow erosion of my teeth, how after training myself to vomit every day for 2 years straight, I would start to vomit involuntarily if I accidentally started walking too fast, the bloody constipation that slowly turned into hemorrhoids, how my period became extremely irregular and still is, how I would start to forget things that were really important, like forgetting to order my graduation cap until the very last minute when everyone else already had theirs, how I would become extremely confused and disoriented really quickly, which would make me cry, and the 2 symptoms most important to this story. Symptom number 1, the extreme emotional and physical exhaustion that I felt constantly. Yeah, the thing about vomiting after you eat every day, has a tendency to make you just a little bit more tired than normal, if you can put it like that. Also, it makes things like walking and just moving in general pretty painful, which, when you have to pretend to fight off an insane serial killer late in the evening, after the sun has gone down, after you've already been in school for the last 9 hours, and still have to do homework afterwards when you get home, it might not make it for the best filming experience, to say it nicely. And symptom number 2. I was very insecure about how I looked. And yes, a lot of it was because I felt fat. And I felt like the other 2 girls looked a lot prettier than me. But some of it was also because, in real life, I have very prominent, very large front teeth that basically dominate my entire face. Which, even after 6 years of wearing braces, still stick out like a sore thumb. And you would think that this would make me look like a cute cartoon bunny rabbit, but in reality, it made me look a lot more like a beaver. So you can imagine that being on camera is something I really didn't want to do. And in order to avoid this disastrous outcome, I basically agreed to do literally everything else, as long as I didn't have to be on camera. That was the deal. But then again, God doesn't seem to like me very much for some reason, and basically decided to shit all over my lovely white carpet, and then smear it all over the wall. Because on the first day of shooting, when we had to record the conversation where the serial killer dares the college girls camp in the woods, which luckily we were able to record during normal school hours, thank God, things slowly started to fall apart. It started with me setting up the camera to get a long introduction panorama shot of the classroom, having the camera slowly move towards the door as the serial killer walks in. This was the only shot that I was able to record for the movie, because once I started recording the scene where the 2 girls get approached by Shinji, the girls started manically giggling to themselves for some reason. What's so funny?
Oh, nothing.
Okay, let's try this again then. And action. Are you guys okay? Is something wrong?
Oh, no. We're good. We're totally good.
Okay, can you guys please stop giggling like that and, actually say your lines? Otherwise, we're never gonna finish this project. Okay? Okay, let's try this again. And action. Okay, can you please stop doing that? I would actually like to finish shooting this scene before I have to get on the 45-minute train ride back to my hometown, which will be leaving the station in roughly an hour and a half. So please, can you 2 stop giggling like a couple of middle schoolers every goddamn time I turn on this camera? If you could do that for me, that would be swell. Thanks. Ugh, I swear to God, if these 2 chicken heads start giggling again, I'm gonna...
Okay, this is clearly not working. See, switch places with Rei.
Wait, what? No! You said I could be the cameraman! I don't want to act. I don't want to be on camera. And I know for a damn fact that none of you pigeon brains are gonna do a damn thing to help me with the editing of this film, given that we've already established that I'm the only one here who knows how to use iMovie.
Look, you and I both have shit we need to do today, and it doesn't look like Tweedledee and Tweedledummer over here are gonna stop their involuntary little giggle fest long enough for any of us to actually get the footage that we need for this project. So either you switch places with Rei so that we can actually get a move on today, or we all get an F for this film by not submitting anything at all. Your choice.
Ugh, fine. But if my acting is bad, I'm gonna blame all of you. And oh boy, was my acting bad. You could tell just how uncomfortable I was in every single scene of this train wreck. With my exaggerated body language, unnatural speaking voice, and that pitiful look in my eye that basically did everything but scream, "I really don't want to do this right now!" But now we were at the very least able to get those stupid damn lines. However, the hard part was still yet to come, because we still had to film the rest of this thing, which takes place in a forest at night. Genius planning there, guys. Appreciate ya. Thankfully, God decided to give me a freebie after all of that nonsense he just pulled, and we luckily remembered that there was a small park right behind the school campus with grass, trees, bushes, and all that kind of gross nature stuff. It even had a little duck pond that we sadly didn't get to use. Me. This thankfully meant that we didn't have to make our way into a dark, cold, and wet forest in the middle of the night, all by ourselves. Oh, and just for context, this project was assigned to us in the middle of November, and was due mid-December. So we were in the middle of winter, which meant two things. One, it meant that it started getting dark around 5 p.m, meaning we wouldn't need to do this crap at like 1 in the morning like I had originally feared. Thank God. And two, it was cold as balls outside, and it would rain at least every other day. And sometimes it would even snow a little bit. And because of this, I was desperately hoping that we wouldn't have to record all this mess while God decided to take his evening piss in the dark. But then I realized that we had another problem. The girls in this movie are supposed to go camping in the woods, which means we need a tent. And finally, Asuka decided to actually be useful for once, and decided to bring a tent she had lying in the back of her closet as a prop. Thank you, Asuka! The one thing you did throughout this whole process that didn't make me want to carve your eyeballs out. And for that, I'm gonna remove 5 bitch points from your inventory, just as a thank you. Anyway.
And that was part 2. One more part left to go. Sorry to have to divide the video up like this, guys, but this story is long, and I frankly need time to process it because I still get very mad about this, even to this day. And somehow it still keeps getting worse. Just wait until part 3. Oh, just you wait. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye!